So let's get to our healthy and delicious granola. So you're gonna need 4 cups of oats, and then you need 1.5 cups of seeds combined with nuts. So I use 1/2 a cup of pumpkin seeds, and then I do 1/2 and 1/2 of almonds, which I chop with a knife, and then I chop the pecans with my hands. And then you're going to need a teaspoon of salt. I'm using the pink Himalayan salt. And then you need 1/2 a teaspoon of cinnamon, ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. The recipe calls for 1/2 of a cup of maple syrup, but because I'm adding dry fruit to it, I'm gonna reduce that to 3/8 of a cup. And then you need 1/2 a cup of melted coconut oil. So the super easy. The only thing you're gonna do is gonna mix them all together in a bowl, and then we're gonna place it in a tray to bake for 25 minutes at 350. So let's do that. So after we do our oats and our nuts and our seeds, we're gonna add our salt, and then you just kind of mix it through it. And then we're gonna do our cinnamon in there. I do this before I add the liquid just to make it a little easier, and then I do the coconut oil. Remember, it has to be melted. My teaspoon of vanilla. So after adding all my dry ingredients with the coconut oil and the vanilla, lastly I'm going to add my syrup, 3/8 of a cup of maple syrup. I don't like it that sweet, so that's what I use, because I'm going to add dry fruit to it, and also raisins or craisins. And then you're going to use mix well. Once you mix well, we're going to put it in the tray. So now we're going to transfer our granola into a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Make sure that it covers all of your edges, otherwise whatever is on the baking sheet that is not covered by the parchment paper is going to get stuck to it, and it's going to be hard to take off after you bake. So we're going to pour in there. And we're going to try to distribute evenly. Again, remember, and you can pat it with your spatula. So remember to not put any of the granola mixture on this edge, on this one, like for instance in those places right here where there has no parchment paper, because it will get stuck to it because of the maple syrup, and it's going to be hard to take off. So then you just have to spread out. For instance, right here where I see that, I'm just going to pull it in so that way it doesn't get stuck to the tray, and then same thing right here. And I'm going to bake this for 25 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and your granola is going to be ready. Then we're going to cool it down 45 minutes. So after it's cooled down for 45 minutes, we're going to take it out of the tray, and this is how I do it. I roll down my parchment paper to make it easier for me instead of cracking it inside of the tray, and then I just grab it like a little burrito, right, like a roll, and then I place it in my bowl again. And you can crush it with the parchment paper, but you can also do it with the spatula or with the spoon that in the way that you'll see in a little bit. So here I am doing it with the spatula quickly. Now we're gonna add 1/2 cup of raisins and then 1/2 cup of coconut flakes. Mix it all together to pour in our container. We're saving it to share later on. Hopefully you make it. And here is a delicious and fast recipe from our home to your kitchen. Blessings.